Welcome to the Case Study Learning Series in International Business by Skilled MBA. In this session, we explore Cirque du Soleil's ambitious expansion into China, a journey marked by bold vision, cultural complexity, and strategic pivots. From its creative origins to its corporate restructuring, this case examines how a global entertainment icon attempted to enter one of the most promising but challenging markets in the world. We will analyze decisions made from 2007 through 2020 and extract lessons relevant to any business navigating cross-border growth. Cirque du Soleil was founded in 1984 by Guy Laliberté, who revolutionized the traditional circus by eliminating animal acts and blending acrobatics with artistic storytelling. In the 1990s and 2000s, it rapidly expanded across North America and beyond, building a powerful brand identity rooted in innovation and theatrical creativity. By 2007, the company made its initial foray into China, but with limited commercial success. A new chapter began in 2015 when Cirque was acquired by a consortium including TPG, Fosun, and Caisse de dépôt. This shift marked the beginning of a more aggressive market expansion strategy in China. The company underwent a significant transformation post-acquisition. Guy Laliberté's visionary artistic leadership gave way to private equity ownership that emphasized financial performance and global scaling. Under this new leadership, China became a renewed strategic priority. However, the transition also introduced operational and strategic tensions. In June 2020, Cirque filed for creditor protection as the pandemic halted performances globally, forcing a reassessment of its business model and financial structure. China's live entertainment market presented undeniable potential. With a population of 1.4 billion and an expanding middle class, consumer demand for cultural experiences was on the rise. The industry was growing at an annual rate of over 8% before the pandemic, reaching an estimated $67 billion in value by 2019. For Cirque du Soleil, this presented a once-in-a-generation opportunity to capture a new audience in an emerging economic powerhouse. Cirque's entry strategy involved several key elements. First, market assessments confirmed strong growth in China's entertainment sector. Next, the company formed a strategic partnership with Fosun Group, a major Chinese investor, to help navigate regulatory, cultural, and operational challenges. It targeted major cities for permanent venue installations and adjusted its show content to appeal more directly to Chinese cultural preferences. The plan was bold, but required flawless execution and cultural sensitivity. Despite these preparations, Cirque encountered significant cultural headwinds. Language barriers affected marketing and local team coordination. Chinese audiences had different expectations regarding performance pacing, thematic clarity, and visual aesthetics. Ticket pricing strategies had to be reevaluated in a market less familiar with premium live entertainment. Striking the right balance between maintaining Cirque's brand identity and resonating with local audiences proved more difficult than expected. China's regulatory framework added further complexity. All performances required pre-approval, often with mandated content changes to align with state cultural policies. Business licenses were difficult to obtain, involving multiple overlapping government agencies. Foreign investment restrictions forced Cirque to work through joint ventures and limited operational control. These factors created delays and constrained Cirque's ability to scale effectively. The Chinese entertainment market was already vibrant and competitive. Cirque faced competition from local acrobatic troupes, theme parks, musical productions, and other forms of live performance, including Western circus-style shows. Unlike North America or Europe, where Cirque had first-mover advantage, in China it had to fight for attention in a well-established ecosystem with lower-cost alternatives and deeply rooted traditions. Financial pressures mounted quickly. Cirque's shows involved high production costs, which, when combined with underwhelming ticket sales, led to unfavorable returns. Permanent venues created large fixed expenses that could not be offset without consistent attendance. Additionally, the brand had to invest heavily in awareness campaigns, making China an expensive and risky market with slow payoff timelines. A series of missteps complicated Cirque's path. The company underestimated cultural differences and relied too heavily on global brand strength. It pursued an aggressive expansion timeline, seeking rapid returns instead of sustainable growth. Its pricing strategy failed to align with market readiness. Perhaps most critically, operational decisions were centralized, with limited input from local teams who better understood the market dynamics. In contrast, Disney's gradual and culturally sensitive market entry provides a useful benchmark. Disney spent years building brand familiarity through media and merchandise before opening physical locations. It heavily adapted content, creating authentically Disney, distinctly Chinese experiences. Additionally, Disney invested in government relationships and local community programs. Cirque could have benefited from this measured and partnership-driven approach. The pandemic delivered a devastating blow. Global performance cancellations in March 2020 abruptly cut off all revenue streams, while fixed costs like venue leases and staff remained. The company's liquidity rapidly deteriorated. Unable to meet its debt obligations, Cirque filed for creditor protection in June 2020. The crisis exposed the financial fragility of its expansion model and forced an urgent restructuring process. The restructuring aimed to reduce debt, streamline operations, and prepare for a post-pandemic future. Digital offerings, once a secondary focus, became central to the recovery strategy. Cirque began investing in content that could be distributed through digital platforms, extending its reach and reducing reliance on high-cost venues. The company also reevaluated how to scale globally without replicating the risks seen in China. Several important lessons emerged. First, cultural intelligence is essential. Superficial localization rarely succeeds. Second, local partnerships must be empowered with decision-making authority, not just advisory roles. Third, market development requires time. Global brands must resist the urge to scale too quickly. Finally, customer expectations must shape product design. Content must be adapted deeply, not just translated or simplified. Looking forward, Cirque's strategy may evolve in three ways. First, it must pursue digital transformation to diversify delivery channels. Second, it should co-create with local artists and institutions to build authentic cultural relevance. Third, it may need to experiment with lighter, more flexible formats, reducing fixed costs and allowing agile market testing. These shifts could pave the way for a more sustainable and globally adaptive future. Thank you for watching the Case Study Learning Series in International Business by Skilled MBA.